Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new, I would love for you to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you are notified of all of my new videos. My name is Heather. I am the owner and author behind townsendhouse.com, where I help you implement systems and strategies in order to overcome the chaos and cultivate simplicity in your home and homeschool. Today is video 3 in my 2021 PowerSheets goal setting series. If you have not seen the first 2 videos where I went through all of my prep work, I will leave those in the description box so that you can see them. And if you are unfamiliar with PowerSheets, I do have a full walkthrough of the 2021 PowerSheets, which I will leave a link for that below as well. Today is supposed to be where I share with you my goals. We finished up in the last video with the rough draft of my 2021 goals. However, I do not set my goals before I choose my word of the year. And choosing your word of the year, I think, is like right before the action plans. So I am going to share about my word of the year, how I come to decide on the word, and how I use that in my goal setting. So let's get started. So my word of the year for 2021 is life-giving. And the reason that I came to this word was because I started to reread all of the life-giving books by Sally Clarkson. She has, I believe, 3 books, 3 that I'm familiar with, called The Life-Giving Table, The Life-Giving Home, and The Life-Giving Parent, which I think The Life-Giving Parent she actually wrote with her husband. I come into the PowerSheets every fall, and I usually have an idea of what my word of the year is going to be. I start thinking about that before I even start doing my prep work, and I tend to do my prep work through the lens of that word. Now, sometimes that word will change, sometimes it doesn't. I have been choosing a guiding word for my year for, I think, at least a decade. It may be more. Before I even really started, before I knew anything about PowerSheets, I would always have a guiding word or an intention for the new year. I've never been a resolution person, but having sort of a theme to look at and see when I'm making decisions, how those decisions line up with what I'm hoping my year to be has always been helpful for me. So this year, my word was slow for 2020, and it did not really work the way that I had thought it would. I talked a lot in my first video of this goal series about how all of my goals were kind of thrown up in the air because we ended up moving at the end of February, before all of the craziness that has happened in 2020. And it was kind of a surprise. It was not a plan at that point. We had had our house on the market. We took it off the market in November of 2019 and then got an offer mid-January and had to find a new place to live. So slow was not exactly what I envisioned. It did not happen the same way. It was slow in other ways. We did not really go anywhere, so in that way it was slow, but that wasn't really the reasoning behind that word. So this year, because we're in our new home and because everything has been so crazy in 2020, I started thinking in October that life-giving was going to be what I wanted my theme to be for 2021. And I started to read through those books by Sally Clarkson again, and it really spoke to me. Life-giving can mean a lot of different things. I specifically want our home to be a life-giving home. I want to live seasonally and have certain things happen throughout the year that my kids can rely on. I want our homeschool to be life-giving. I don't want it to be monotonous. I don't want to struggle through those things. Not that there is never a struggle. There's always going to be some sort of struggle. I've just accepted that. But what can I do to make sure that I'm doing all that I can to be life-giving for my health, for my finances, for my home, my family, my homeschool, my business, my friendships? What are the ways that I can use life-giving as a theme as I set my goals for 2021? So I have a lot of ideas for what I want my year to look like. And will they all happen? I'm not sure. I tend to be very big picture, and then I'm very list oriented. So I tend to write down all of the things that I think I can accomplish in a specific category. And I think about those things through the lens of my word of the year. So, for example, for a life-giving home, one of the themes in what I believe a life-giving home is rhythm. And having a rhythm that matches how I want my day-to-day life to be. It's very easy to get overwhelmed with all of the things, even when you're not participating in a lot of outside activities, which we are not doing right now. It's so easy to go through the motions and just try to get through the day. Now, part of that can be because it has been a struggle to not see as many people or be involved with our community the way that we are used to being involved. And so what are the ways that I can control my little bubble and breathe life into my home? So rhythm is a big concentration for me. And in fact, I went back and forth trying to figure out if I wanted my word to be rhythm, because that was a theme that I found a lot through my PowerSheets prep work this year. I think that moving right before all the shutdown stuff was very stressful. And I never really came out of that stress time. It just continued to snowball for me. So I obviously don't want to live that way. And life-giving is something that really spoke to me. And I know that I can use life-giving as my theme and then rhythm as sort of like a sub-theme throughout the different areas of my life that I want to work on. When you start the PowerSheets prep work, usually, at least in my experience, most people tend to have some ideas going into the prep work, what they want to concentrate on. If you are brand new to goal setting, brand new to the PowerSheets, it's possible that you are going in with a completely blank slate, and that is absolutely fine. As you go through your prep work, you are going to start to see themes, and then those will help you to choose your word of the year. But for me, I always start thinking, usually in October, November, where I want my year to start and where I want it to end for the following year. I love reflection. I love introspection. It's kind of my jam. So thinking about those things ahead of time is not difficult. I don't write any of that stuff in my PowerSheets. It's all just floating around in my head until I sit down and really start working through the prep work. Once I have my word of the year, it's very easy for me to start listing out tasks and different action items that I have related to my big picture goals. So I know that a lot of people talk about SMART goals. I'm not going to remember the acronym now. A lot of my goals are not things that at the end of 2021 will be completed. So for example, something like growing my faith, there is never going to be a time when I complete that goal. I will always be working towards another step in growing my faith and relationship with God. It doesn't just stop. And the same thing for like, my working on my relationships with my friends or my family. Those are things that are always going to have more to do. You will see growth through the year, but it doesn't mean that the goal is finished. Now, there are some time-specific goals, especially related to like business or work, or things like read a specific number of books each year, or make sure that you do a self-care routine. But some of the things are not time bound, some of them are, and that is okay with me. Some people really need that time bound goal to make it to feel accomplished, and if that's you, that's also fine. You can still write your goals in this way with time-bound tasks. So I have life-giving as my word, and then I will sit down and go through and write out my goals, my big idea goals, with that word of the year in my mind. I am not going to share my goals in this video. It will be in the next video, but I would love to hear what your word of the year is. If you use it as a theme for your goals, or if it is just something that you want to concentrate on throughout your year to try and keep you on the right track, please leave me a comment and let me know what your word of the year is if you know it. If you don't know it yet, that's okay. There is still time. January 1st, when I'm recording this, is just in a couple of days, but that doesn't mean that you have to have everything done and ready to go on January 1st. I am a fan of the slow start. I'm a fan of the slow start for homeschooling when we start school in July with our new curriculum, and I'm also a fan of the slow start with goals. The reason is because I don't want to get to January 5th and be overwhelmed because I have so many things going on in my goals. So, I'm going to talk about all of my goals in the next video, and some of the action items, how I use the action plans in the PowerSheets, and I hope you will come back and join me for that. Yeah, I am so ready to put the lid on 2020. I know a lot of us are. It's been a good year. It's been a challenging year. It's been a difficult year, but I try to just keep moving ahead. Little steps, little by little progress is what the name of the game is. And that is how we want to think about goals going into the new year. Just a little bit of progress. It does not have to be monumental right up front. So yeah, thank you again for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.